All this started, and then I will be discussing what the heck is going on today, which is always kind of exciting. Okay. Okay, great. So thank you all for bearing with me as I got that set up, and welcome again. It is the new moon in Scorpio. This is a representative moment of transformation. And this is also a time to kind of use as a catalyst so that we can kind of shift through maybe any in-between phases in our lives right now. You may find that shortly after this new moon that a metamorphosizing journey, I should say, is being kicked into entirely new gear. Everything really leveling up and everything kind of becoming revealed for you so that you actually sort of understand what the next process is. And that energy is definitely going to be tried to kind of be downloaded and activated in this meditation as well. If you're feeling that stuck energy, stagnant energy, this is also, especially with kind of the coming of new moon, which is kind of the case for all new moons, that it's a time of bringing in something new, bringing in a shift, bringing in a change. But specifically with this new moon in Scorpio, it's actually also a time of, what I would say is, really kind of allowing the pressures to just be pulled apart, almost as if we're all floating together. It's really a great time to inspire that change, to transform, and to kind of instigate a real shift. It's like worrying the self until the shift finally occurs. What's been kind of amazing, of course, is that we are, working with this time, but we are also coming from Samhain and Halloween and, Dia de los Muertos, All Souls Day. I specifically myself took time to go be with my ancestors. I recently moved, in fact, and I'm now closer to my grandmother. So working with the divine feminine and bringing it all in, honoring those that came before, it feels really kind of helpful and useful and divinely aligned that this moment of shifting and kind of looking at the ancestors, looking at the spirits, looking at those who have passed, but who have nonetheless kind of left a mark on us, left a mark on our path ahead, and have formed us in some way, are now kind of allowing us to move into a new place, which is new moon in Scorpio. Scorpio being the sign that is ruled not only by water, but by Pluto, Pluto and Hades being the same. And Hades, of course, being the ruler of the underworld in ancient Greece, the ruler of endings. So it's really this amazing time. And the reason why shifting is so important, changing is so important, is that it's a new beginning with the energy of endings. So it's an allowance for the door to really close behind us now. So that when we're retreating it within and we're reflecting, we're actually kind of opening within ourselves new corners, new places within our hearts and minds. And we're allowing ourselves to unpack the really dense emotions that we might sometimes deal with. This isn't to scare anyone. I'm not going to sit here and try to make anyone feel anything they're not interested in feeling. But what it's about is allowing ourselves to kind of be stabilized with what we're working through while allowing the end to occur and a new beginning to join us. What's also really important is that we are opposite Uranus. So Uranus is Father Sky energy in ancient Greece. He's all about kind of the true ultimate sort of appreciation of the self. And so there's a lot of this new and exciting, but maybe a little frustrating, nerve-wracking energy, maybe a feeling of struggle, a feeling of independence that can be explored as well here. Anticipation. I'm sorry, there's something with the air. I'm just going to open the window. Thanks. And allowing for kind of like a sudden change and an unexpected encounter with self to also kind of come to fruition, because I've talked a lot about how we're kind of in the Aquarian age. We're in the real new age of Aquarius. Uranus has really been following us everywhere. I feel like for this whole year, we had 2 blue moons in Aquarius this year. There's just so much to uncover. So it's not surprising that this new change with endings, Uranus is with us. Finally, we've got Mercury and Venus with us. That's just kind of the end of this astrological download. So there's a lot of love, there's a lot of friendship, there's a lot of cooperation to really support us and ground us. That's something that you can always kind of draw from today if you feel called to, if you feel the need to. Now, today's meditations, we're going to do 2 with a silent break in between. The first will be kind of just arriving, honoring the self, attuning to each other, to the energy of this circle, just kind of releasing some stuff to kind of be present. And then if you know me, or if you've been here for a long time, you know that I love to do the deity work. I specifically love my deities. There's just so many here, and on my other altar next door, which is just off camera. And so I will be calling in Hades and Pluto. This is not an attempt to hurt in any way or to harm. So work with him as you feel comfortable to. If Persephone is more helpful to call in divine feminine instead of divine masculine, that's okay. Or have the conversation with yourself. And I'll be guiding you through that, but I'm just kind of letting you know now so you know what the roadmap looks like. We're going to go on these journeys together, and we'll share at the end. It should be really fun. Finally, I realized I haven't introduced myself. I'm Leia Precious Thunder Warrior. My pronouns are they, them. I'm currently living in Pawgasset territory, or Connecticut, as we might kind of commonly call it. My sign, Virgo Libra cusp. I have a Cancerian rising, so bringing in my own water, and Sag moon. I've been doing this work for about 12 years. And this business is about 2 years old, maybe a year and a half. But I'm just really excited to have you all, and really grateful for this opportunity to connect. So thank you very much for being here, and let's cue the music. Go ahead, get comfortable, and I am going to begin. Okay. So let's begin at the beginning with our breath. I am going to invite you to breathe in to the count of 9, and then breathe out to the count of 9. I will say 9, we'll breathe in. I'll say 9, we breathe out. And let's do this a few times to just kind of cycle, arrive, be present. So let's start together. 9, breathing in. 9, breathing out. 9, breathing in. 9, breathing out. And again, 9. 9. 9. And 9. And let's cycle through about 2 more here. We're going to hold after the first inhalation. So 9, and hold. 9. 9. Again, 9. 9. I'm going to begin with a prayer and call ourselves in. You might recognize this prayer, you might not. Just know that it is used for your highest intentions and for the grace of us all. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa Iyaka nasta'in, Uhdina sirata al-mustaqim, sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. Calling in now the ancestors and the guides, your guides, your people, your animal friends, any helpful spirits, as well as my keepers, Ishtar of Babylon, calling in Hecate, who has been with us around Halloween, calling in Shaktima, calling in Ninurta, calling in Hermes, calling in Persephone, calling in Hades, calling in Anubis, Osiris, Isis, Freya, Odin, Thor, calling in the peoples of the lands that we stand on with great humbleness and gratitude. We are open to the 7 directions, to the north, the east, the south, the west, the below, the above, and the heart space. The earth is beneath us, the water is around us, and the sky is above us. And we are so humbly grateful for this path that we have been led on today. I welcome us all into this space, this moment, this time, calling to those who are across time, watching in the future, watching, listening, calling out and welcoming in the stars and the planets as we all align with Scorpio and with Pluto energy, welcoming in a time of great ends and great change brought in by this time, as we are letting now the past release, and inviting a relinquishment to this group, this circle, this temple, so that we may be of ease, So let's be open to the operation of downloading the wisdom and magic of today, of the universe around us, the elements of Scorpio and its ruler, beginning with ourselves and taking some time now to check in with the energy that we're at. Understanding that we do not always vibrate and interact with others in the way we might like to, and that only us, only you, can truly know what is going on. So we are taking some time to invite in a little structure, self-observation, and welcoming of inner peace. Finding wisdom as we go within to check in with how we are living in our space. Knowing that all of our medicine work, our magic work, our mysticisms and esotericisms are all one tradition today, one connection, one vibration. And so we are attuning to the many wisdoms and traditions and medicines of our human ancestors, of our lineages and beyond, in sacred space together, and taking a moment of silence here in connection both with the self, with our personal vibration, and our personal medicine. Remembering that sometimes we have arrived at the person we are because we've come to believe that we need to be this way and that we need to be some kind of right way to receive attention or approval or love or validation. Perhaps we bend over backwards to avoid conflict or criticism, to handle our stress and our disappointment, or our rejection or abandonment. Acknowledging that we sometimes do things to avoid others. But we no longer have to be the overachiever, the overly responsible, the performer, the always available, the overlooked or misunderstood, the keeper of secrets, the angry one, or the quiet one, the selfless one. We can acknowledge the vibrations that we might still carry of the times that we didn't get to be who we truly were. And we can today forgive ourselves, forgive the inner child as well as the adult who still lives and grows. You can choose to be and to do all that makes you feel your authentic self. You have permission to heal and to stop the repetition of the past. Or we can allow ourselves to remember that everyone in this room, across time and space and distance, is in many ways just like you. We may be scarred from colonized practices and the weights of the world, from difference, from supremacy. But we are all together, gathered in sacred community spirit, to grow and alchemically shift. We are all wishing, dreaming, and hoping for something new. So we can awaken together and know that none of us are alone. We are welcoming now today a clarity of mind, a clarity of body and spirit, and paying special attention to finding ways to continue that clarification of self. Paying special attention to our waters, our internal emotional state, and allowing for ourselves to be gentle. For our emotions can take many forms, as many of the waters themselves. We can sometimes find ourselves in a great maelstrom whirlwind over troubled ocean waves. Sometimes we are the ocean at the new dawn, calm, rolling in and out. Sometimes we are the lake, the grand old grandmother, deep and knowledgeable, full of emotional secrets, but calm, collected, and vast. Sometimes we are even the ever-flowing river, our emotions all coming at once, everything flowing with no end, and we, in our hallowed space, riding that flow, sometimes above, sometimes sunk in beneath. But our emotions and our waters are nonetheless always unchanging. For they are all waters. And we, like these many bodies, many forms, also flow from one to another, sourced in many places, and sacred in all ways. And just as the waters shift, we too can shift. We can blend and mend and grow. For we house so many parts of ourselves. As the waters, perhaps the small frogs and fish and plants, even one divine container is a greatness of community within and without. And sometimes with all of this, we may find silence where we can be the gentle raindrops that form ripples in calm waters. We can be with the quietude of always moving, always becoming, always feeding into ourselves and growing, shrinking, changing. For there is great life to be lived among all the mud and gunk of the marshes and lakes and ponds. Great life that surrounds us all like a blanket. All the way into the beginning of time. We were born into microcellular organisms, replicating in a vast ocean wildlife. We were born from the ocean, and it is us in turn. We are always wading through the waters of time. And there is something incredibly sacred and important and beautiful in all of this. So now let us allow a clarity of our waters, a clearing out of our vessel, clearing out the muscles, clearing out the mind, rebalancing and harmonizing the left hemisphere of the brain with the right hemisphere, clarifying the blood and the organs, our liver, our stomachs, clearing out sensitivities and fears and angers, allowing our waters to become sparkling and reflecting of rainbows. rainbows and the moon. Let us become empty of all, so that we are not one thing, not a single thing, no thing, but waters. And we allow for a neutral smile into this place, knowing that we do not have to perform happiness or goodness for anyone. We can simply be peace in all directions, emanations, and ripples of the waters of the self. The moon is above us, ruler of the tides. The grandmother who goes through many phases and aspects of the self, who visits many stars in the sky, and who is preparing to move into a time of eclipse. This grandmother is also ruler of the waters, pulling the tides of the oceans, pulling the waves of the seas, pulling our waters too, our many waters. She shifts and we shift with her. Sometimes imperceptibly, sometimes deeply enough to shift and shake us, to turn us from the streams and puddles, even to those storming oceans. But always she is there above us, and we are here below her, connected to her with all her craters and shapes, from crescent to fully round stone in the sky, piece of earth, piece of stars, formed like us from molten liquid of life. Let us attune to her watery ways as she returns from her shadow period. She is beginning again in something new, something reborn. She is the newborn infant again, and so are we. Let us take in her journey, take in our relation to her, and come into connection with that vibration. Before us, We may never know just what we may find. Just as the moon only sees her path, but never the final destination. There is always a great unknown, a great mystery, a mystery of the oceans and of the skies, of the Milky Ways and the galaxies throughout all life. We do our best to measure and create the alchemical reality that we desire, but we too, like the moon, walk in a path of shadow and do our best to put one foot in front of the other. So let us together bring in a great forgiveness to the self, who is complicated, who moves ever forward, changed and unchanged. May we make peace with all that we have seen and done, knowing that we may never have all the answers. Welcoming in calmness and serenity to the watery self, to the emotional self, allowing gentleness to permeate all parts of the emotional mind, welcoming in the kindness of the heart of the moon into the emotional heart of you, and welcoming in acceptance as you are, as you have been, and as you will be. Be wholly clarified in silence and focus of yourself as one vessel for an incredibly powerful and sacred being. Be kind, always kind to yourself. The music can stop here, and we will be taking a 2 or 3 minute break. So go ahead, grab some water if you need to. If there's anything you'd like to write down, you're welcome to journal at this time. Thank you to those who have stayed. If you can make the second meditation, would be happy to have you. I see some folks had to leave, and that's okay too. So I'll mute. You can stay in meditation or just take a break, and we'll return in a few minutes. All right, let's begin the second meditation music. And water going down funny, I guess. Everyone feels ready. Time to get comfortable again. Hello to the folks joining on Facebook. And now we will begin our dream journey. Let's take a moment to return to the breath. And so I will be guiding us, breathing in 9, at the 9, breathing out again 9. In 9, and 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. We are welcoming back our focus. We are welcoming back our power. We are welcoming back the waters of our hearts. We are returning to self and to psychic vision. Bringing your awareness to your forehead, noticing where there is tension and where there are the thoughts of others. Bringing attention to the top of your eyes, your brow, where eyes meet forehead, and where the two seeing eyes meet the inner discerning eye, the eye that sees beyond the veil, the perceiving eye reading at universe frequency the mystical and esoteric sources of the earthly. We tap into our psychic vision with the mystical wisdom of the lineages that came before. And you are paring down to the core of you with love, with joy, and for your healing and grace. We are in the time after All Souls Day, Samhain, Halloween, and Dia de los Muertos. We have reconnected with the recently dead, fed them, rejoiced with them, and honored their many sacrifices to bring us to today with all that we carry. Today we honor that there are spirits in all things. Sacredness at the heart, sacredness at the soul level, sacredness of the land beneath our feet, of the homes in which we live, and in all the world and all its creatures. So let us now move into a place of vision and understanding. As we begin, our spirits may fly up out of our bodies and out of the room, preparing for a journey of dreams, allowing for a time to embark on a quest for inner wisdom, inner understanding, in alignment with the great and humble universe. We are flying through the sky, beyond the realms of the earth and the physical world. Moving to our place of healing today, our place of psychic, spirit healing and medicine. And when we finally land, we are in a desert. This place is barren. There is only sand and dunes. There is no light, only the night itself. You may hear water like a faraway wave, but you do not see it. Only a great nothingness. Above us, the endless sky, stars like lanterns above, beginning to shine. And around us, that emptiness, a place without spirit, without heart. Before us stands a man. We are filled with an awareness of the fragrance of musk and jasmine. This being carries a bident staff, two-pronged, wearing the cap of invisibility. And beside him is Kerberos, the three-headed dog. Bringing with it a kind of happiness and joy, excited to see us. Our guardian, as well as this being's guardian. This is Hades, Pluto, And we take this moment now to honor the ruler of Scorpio, the great ruler of the underworld. I offer my prayer for us all. Great Hades, master of the dark afterworld, honored host of our beloved dead, husband of fair-haired Persephone, holder of the riches of the deep earth, eldest son of full-hearted Rhea and Kronos, I praise you. Hades, kind one, unyielding one, gracious granter of respite to the suffering, of welcome to those who have passed from our world, I thank you for your gift of shelter and hospitality. Thank you for watching over our spirits. Thank you for showing us your dominion over endings. For today is a day of endings and change. And if you do not feel comfortable to speak to him, or if you would rather speak to Persephone, we invite in the safest way for you to communicate with this energy of endings, of doorways closing, of spirits aloft. Just as Hades rules over death, so too does he align tonight with the moon in a new beginning. And we honor him in great fullness, the deeply emotional, the serious and the wise, as Scorpio as well, the natural born leader, determination, bravery, and honesty. We honor the boldness of the energy of this day, the ability to tune into our emotions, and the highly protectiveness of this energy as Kerberos the dog, that guardian of that which is beloved. We honor all of this, those parts of ourselves and the moon. We honor the waterways, the river Styx, and the deepness of self that is in all things, as well as the power that it holds. So let us take a moment and introduce ourselves now to this energy, to this vibration, to this person, this being. We may ask him where the river Styx is gone, where his realm is, what he's doing here. We may ask him questions on the nature of our life so far, and allow him now to give you answers and to commune and blend energies and spirit. He now offers to you his questions, inviting you to go deep within. Why do you show your face today? And you may ask him, what has come to an end in my life? He asks you in turn, what blocks your inner peace? What grudges need to end? And you may ask him in turn, in what ways do I avoid the shadow aspects of myself? What is stopping me from shifting my vibration? And he stops you here, holding out his hand, and we see resting in his palm the tender-hearted Scorpio. Scorpion, and he reminds you that this creature is deeply adapted to conserve water and emotional stability, even when we are in the void. Even when we are without nourishment and resources and emotional support, this creature wears its bones as armor and stores its waters for long, long periods of time. A being that is so resilient, it survives the freezing ice and the intense desert heat. And as we're taking in the medicine of this animal, Hades speaks, this scorpion is you. You may ask, but what of the poison? What of the poison? For a moment, there is silence. Where do you hold your poison? Asks Hades. He pauses. Where and when, if ever, have you had to defend yourself and survive an ending in the process? We begin to feel water pooling at our feet. This water is warm and inviting, while also cooling within us some of our wildness. Hades continues to stand before us as this desert fills from all sides. Waves coming into our knees and to our waists as we stand still before this deity. And Hades speaks again. We must choose to forget some things to be free. We must choose to forget the hurts, to forget the people. We must allow ourselves to end the story. Our memory will always live on and will always have held a place within us. But the moon ever turns, and the waters shift again. We can choose to become something new rather than live in the past forever. We can choose to be the truest version of ourselves and do our best to put an end to reliving we can overcome, becoming resilient enough to pay no mind and remain clear in our heart's waters. Let all of our poisons be washed away. Hades may take from you a certain energy to be held in his dominion now, grasping from your heart and pulling behind him. As you are opening space now to be in your self-discovery, knowing that the other beings on this planet are our teachers as much as they are our memories. And we can allow ourselves the ability to hold the lesson and forget the wound for our own empowerment. We do not hold the pain, only the knowledge, the knowing that what's done is done, letting it all be over. The waters now have reached our hearts. The desert is filling and now bathed in moonlight. And still this water grows, reaching our necks. Hades nods and bids you goodbye as the water consumes us all. We are safe. We are not here to be hurt, only to be covered in the blanket of ocean. We allow ourselves to sink in deeply, knowing that we are held. And our biosphere becomes surrounded by only waters. The lifeless land leaves few islands, sediments, and muds. But around us, in the shallows and the deeps, and the sea floors and beyond, there is a great explosion of life. Trilobites and mollusks, sponges and squids, corals, crinoids, whales, fish, narwhals. We are surrounded by an incredible biodiversity in all things. For these are the waters of birthing, and this is a place to experience joy, to recreate yourself, and to allow for your emotional vibrations to shift and become transmuted. For in this place of fecundity, you are changing. And so take your time to swim here, to allow yourself to play with these creatures, and to in some way become one with the comforting array of the many wonders of life, in waters that are deep and perfectly clear and nurturing to all. We are sinking through the depths, blessed and bathed in blue-greens and yellows and reds, deep navies. And the waters of the world are cleansing you, bearing us as we float aloft. Until we realize that we have come to the very center of this ocean. A focused point here in which all these waters have found their place of birth. A great trench reaching deep into the twilight zone, the portal to the underworld of great power. And from here is a warm and comforting, kind of gentle, lazy rippling. A soft thrum of energy. A column of moonlight. From the skies into this portal. Moving and rethreading and metamorphosing us. Inspiring change within. Cleansing and clearing the corners of our hearts and minds. And allowing for a full retreat to the inner self, to be cleansed and understood. Our words are blessed. Our expression is blessed. And we can heal the shame here as well. We acknowledge that there is work to do, and yet nothing wrong with us. That there are always new steps to take to become who we truly are. We are healing and welcoming in a breakthrough of kindness. We have always been whole, for even as our waters shift, they return no matter how many times we have been broken. And we welcome in now third eye upgrades, final cleansings, activations of transformation, alchemical self-integration, and a reweaving. We are invited to relinquish the need to categorize. We are invited to simply be and to allow for acceptance and for love, knowing that we are changed, but also knowing and finding peace with that which is not within our power to change. Healing, 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 with love in our hearts, peace in our psychic mind. We are floating endlessly, endlessly. We are passionate and powerful and reborn with every breath. We are in control of our emotions, and we surrender to the divine master plan with ease. We trust our intuition wholeheartedly. Our spirits, bodies, and selves blessed infinitely always. And we are held in all ways, slowly, slowly, being washed from the waves, back up to shore. In the weightlessness of all things, always. As we return back to this room that we have left, ready to face our new selves with gentle and humble activation, with love shining always.